Hey guys, just thought I'd do a just a quick how-to video. Still working on my Revell 1 to 25 Ford SVT Lightning. So what we're gonna do in this one is this is for the 2014 box stock community build. I've only got a couple of hours left, and I've pretty much called this done. Just got a few minor things to do. But what we've got here is the actual tub. What I'm going to show you is how to put a texture effect, like a rubber texture surface. Now, on this actual kit itself, the sides were smooth, like they were like styrene, like this stuff here. It was just smooth on the inside, no texture. And when I painted this thing, it just didn't look real. And I was just chatting to Jermaine, Devin Bliss, 8 Foot Iceman Jermaine, and I was talking to Jonathan as well on this morning's hangout once all the other boys left it. So if you watched, I think it's Dutch Modeling's hangout this morning, the latest one, yeah, once he left, the conversation continued on, so you won't get to see that at all. But it's either, over here in Australia, it's either rubber spray that you treat these things with to prevent it from scratching the actual work of your ute or the paint work, or you get a plastic tub, which I think in America they're called rhino tubs, I think. They're called lots of things, tough trays, but anyway, what we're going to try to do, I'm trying to replicate another model, and it's more like to not replicate the rhino tub, it's to replicate the rubber spray that you can actually put in here. So what we've got is, we've just got the thing, it's just been base coated with a black. Now what we're going to use is the stuff here, modeling paste. Now you've seen this a fair bit in my videos, and this stuff works a treat. I've explained before, you can use it for gap filling, but if you want to pause it, they're the actual things you can do, of the things you can do with this stuff. And this stuff is amazing. If you don't have it in your collection or on your shelf, go and do yourself a favor, guys. Go and get yourself some. Doesn't matter what brand it is. I'd say it's all the same. It's a water-based product, so it's very easy to clean. And you see the price there. It's ridiculously cheap. So, and it's a fairly big tub. So what we're going to do is, it comes like this. It's just like a little protective thing. So, and what I actually use, and before I continue on, the brush I used to stipple the modeling paste on in the tray was, make sure you use an old decrepit brush. Don't go using a really good paintbrush, guys. Like, if I can find it, I did have it before. Just give me a couple of seconds, because I probably used it and then I washed it again and put it away. And knowing me, I put things away and sort of forget about it. Give me a couple of minutes and I'll find it. There you go. So it's just this old cruddy brush here, and it's just, yeah. So what I've basically done is I dipped it in there and took off. I didn't want too much, and I didn't want big thick balls of it on there. I want it so like a stippling. So you can see how much the brush gets pushed down. So I basically just went dab, 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 dab until I was happy with it. And you don't have to coat the whole thing so it's white, just so you get the texture. If you want a thin texture, put on thin. If you want a thick built up texture, obviously put it on thick. And I'm going to do this, show the same technique. It's exactly the same technique, guys, but just I'm downsizing to a smaller brush. Now this is my small stippling brush. It's got the same type of wear on it, but it's just a lot smaller. Alright, so if I get this out of the way, and so I've got to repeat this process twice so you can see it. So what we're going to do is, basically, you want your brush, just put it in there, and you can see that's way too much. Okay, you don't want that much on there, so you just scrape off the excess. You can use like a paper towel or whatever. So you just want to take some of it off. If you put too much, you can just dab it back on there. Okay, and all you want to do is, if I can try and see if we get some more light on here before I can go on, this might help. Okay, so just try and bring this in as much as I can. And what you want to do is you just want to dab, like dab, 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 dab. Just keep dabbing until, and don't worry if you get over any paintwork, and you can easily clean off with a bit of water. So just a tiny bit more. You can see how it's probably complete whiteout, but as soon as I'm finished doing it, I'll bring it in close to the camera and you can see what it looks like. So what I'm trying to replicate here is a rubber sort of non-slip surface. Okay, so you can see just wants to zoom in, I'll bring it out a little bit. Right. Hang on, autofocus, hang on. So you can see that there, how it's got the texture of the paintbrush, but it's stippled on there. And yeah, this doesn't take long to dry either, so I might put just a little bit more on there. So any excess, you just get your finger and rip. I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side. And I airbrushed all this in here too, so I use the airbrush to apply the paint, but because it's such a small surface and I really couldn't be bothered taping up an area this small and using the airbrush on it, I mean it's just a simple matter of getting some paint on there, a bit of primer, but I'm not going to go any primer on this because we're just going to go black. Yeah, so the harder you push, the finer the grip pattern will be, the lighter you apply the brush on there. The tread pattern or the grip pattern is going to be a lot more aggressive. Okay, so just a little bit in there. Okay, just a simple cleanup in the water. Okay, so that's just going to take a couple of minutes to dry. It's a very hot day here in Australia, so it's around about 30, I think it is, I believe. I'm expecting a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius, so it's right on midday, so yep, she's hot. So everything's drying really quick. Righto, so we're just going to turn it back around the other side. Whoop. Now, it doesn't matter what black paint you use. Now, you can either use, because you can prime over it, you can either use a semi-gloss black paint straight away. You can use whatever color you want. So if you wanted a red rubber, you can, yeah, red. This you can just paint over it. It's no dramas at all. So what I think I'm going to use is, that's too shiny. Yeah, so I'm just going to get some life color matte black. So just going to give it a quick shake. Alright, so it's going to go for this one. just do the other side. I'll probably give this another coat on the other side, but I'll just thin it down a little bit. And this technique here, you could definitely use it for putting texture on your tanks. Yeah, whatever you can think of, whatever kind of texture you want. If you want to replicate scratches, you can just smooth it out and scratch into it, which will give you a scratch look. Like it is, it's just called, yeah, it's a modeling paste. So think of it as a really thin putty, but just really easy to use, guys. I came across this stuff by accident, so, and I'm glad I did. Alright, so just wet my brush down, and I'm trying to get some paint from inside the cup here. Bring down a thin coat, just to make sure it gets in all the little fine nooks and crannies, just in case. You can see how wet this paint looks now, because I've only just dipped the brush in the paint cup or the water cup and into the lid of this. So I just want this paint nice and thin. You can see how quick this paint's drying over here today. It's just ridiculously quick. Alright. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I done, except same colors, but I just used a different brand on here, just airbrushed it, and then gave it a thin down spray of my pigment binder mix here. It's just Vallejo's. It's all white out. Yeah, it's just Vallejo's polyurethane matte primer, and just filled it up one part, so 10 mils of matte primer, and just fill the rest up with water. You can see the recipe there: 2 parts H2O, 1 part matte varnish, and then just put a little shaker ball on the bottom, so it gets all the chunky bits off the bottom, mixes it nice and well. And you can use this adding pigments into it, spraying, just finish off your mold. You don't need a thick spray anyway when you spray. I find anyway, when you're finishing off your mold, just a thin spray just to protect the paintwork and your decals when it's all done. And that's it. So this ain't finished yet, so there will be, in the reveal video, I'll actually talk a bit more about this video and about this build and what else I've done to it. So yeah, hope it helps, guys, and see you back on the bench, and I'll catch you later. See ya.